Shit. All right. There we go. I believe we're on. All right. What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to another edition of Lost in the Dark podcast. Tonight is going to be fucking awesome. Tonight we're actually going to be talking about the brand new documentary called Viva La Underdogs by one of the greatest bands going right now, Parkway Drive. That Aaron and I are going to talk about that coming up here in a minute. But right now, as you can see, I have a very special guest. My sister, Catie, is on with us.
Oh, I'm going to be on the video too.
Yeah, that's correct.
I guess I'll stop eating. Hi.
First time you've been on a video one of these. Yeah. But yeah, no, you're here right now. I wanted to talk to you because you, with your work, you have a campaign going on. I'm going to talk about it again in the future, but it's like a campaign where you get a t-shirt and the money goes to help with what you're about to talk about. But I did get an email saying that the t-shirt won't arrive until 2 weeks after the campaign closes. So I'm going to talk about it again once I actually get the t-shirt, but I want to have you on right now. Break this down for us. What is the campaign? What is your work? And what's going on?
For sure. Happy Thursday, big bro.
Thirsty Thursday.
Thirsty Thursday, exactly. So the campaign is for Elli's House. Elli's House is a nonprofit in Detroit that fights against sex trafficking in the city. Our mission is to abolish sex trafficking in the city of Detroit through building relationships, offering safe shelter, and providing education. The bulk of what I do with Elli's House is our street outreach program. And what that looks like is us hopping in a 12-passenger van a few times a week. We drive around the east side. We have a specific target area that we're working in. And we're handing stuff out. So we're handing out food, primarily hygiene kits, just essentials, toothpaste, toothbrush, shampoo, soap, things like that. We're also handing out clothing. In the winter, we hand out a lot of blankets, coats, things like that. And our goal is to build relationships with these folks that are out on the streets in hopes that over time they'll come to trust us. And if they want to get into a resource such as a safe shelter, or a rehab program, or whatever it is that they might need, that we can help connect them to that resource. We do have a safe house ourselves. It's limited capacity. We can only host like 2 clients at a time right now, but we're looking to open more houses in the future. But if they can't come to our house, then we will find somewhere else that they can go and continue to be supportive through that process.
And there was a really great, if anyone wants to check it out, there was a really great story. Who did the story on you guys? Was it like Fox Detroit or something? Oh,
yeah, it was Channel 4.
Okay.
Andrea Isom. Yeah, a news story. So
Channel 4 Detroit. And if you look them up on Facebook and go back a little bit, you should be able to find like the full clip of the Elli's House story.
Yeah. We're on Facebook at Elli's House 313. We're also on Instagram at Elli's House 313. Elli's House is spelled ELLIS House.
Hold
and
on,
then the number's 313.
Yeah. Yeah. What? Real quick. I'll be up in a sec though. Sorry.
Okay. But yeah, check us out. Yeah, they did a nice story. Andrea Isom, a news anchor, actually joined us on street outreach. So she hopped in the van with us and had a chance to interview some of the folks that we see right on the regular on the streets. It was a really cool story.
Yeah, I guess before I saw that story, I didn't realize that your work entailed anything like that. Literally going out in a fucking murder van, pretty much a big ass 12 passenger. I mean, the windows aren't blacked out, so I'll give you that at least. But and you ride around in, notably more dangerous parts of the city and try to establish a relationship with these people that need help. And it's fucking an awesome thing that you're doing.
Thanks. Yeah,
it blows my mind.
It's separate from my job. This is just like an extra thing.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, because but this is I found out about the organization through an event called Detroit Soup. Have you heard of that?
No.
Oh, it's so cool. You know, like the show Shark Tank?
Yeah.
It's like that, but it's a community-based micro grant fundraiser, I guess. So they pick a couple people that have projects or nonprofits or ideas to improve the community. And those folks come and present. They do a pitch to the audience. And if you want to be in the audience, you come and you just give a donation. Usually it's like they recommend $5. And you sit in the audience. And at the end of all the pitches, everyone in the audience votes on which one they like best. And the winner gets the money from the night to their project. Yeah. So the first one I went to, Deb Ellinger, the executive director and founder of Elli's House, was there pitching Elli's House. And I heard her speak and she won that night, which was awesome. And I was like, this is really cool. I don't know. I ended up contacting her after the event and I was like, hey, I saw you at Detroit Soup. I don't know how I can help you, but maybe I can do something. So let me know. And that was January of 2017. And I started going on street outreach. I'm now a member of the board and the rest is history.
So you've been going out like this for 3 years now?
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Yeah, just about.
And is that about how long this Elli's House organization has been in existence?
Almost, yeah. About 4 years. So about 2016 is when they started really like ramping up. Excellent. But it started off with Deb so she grew up in Detroit on the east side. So it started off with just her and her husband going around, and they would ask around and they were like, hey, where are people, or like, where are folks in this area that need some assistance? And the community kind of pointed her in the direction. And that's the area that we target now, which is the Chalmers, Harper area.
No shit.
Mm-hmm.
So right over by Harpo's.
Right. We pass Harpo's every time we go out. Yeah.
Oh my God. That is my Mecca. That is.
Yeah.
That is a home away from home for me. I've experienced things in that building that would. Whew, yeah. It's actually crazy. I was watching earlier today. There was one, as far as I know, there's been one live DVD performance that was filmed at Harpo's by one of my favorite bands. I think it's one of the only ones ever filmed at Harpo's, but one of my favorite bands, Hatebreed. And I was at that show, and I'm in the DVD, and I was actually watching that earlier today. So that's fucking crazy that you go by there all the time. I love that place, and I'm really worried about that place right now. I hope all my venues stay open.
I'm really worried about a lot of places right now. But yeah.
On the last episode, actually, we started off the episode with a thing about Aaron found an article about there's some, I can't remember the fucking name, but there's some organization. The link is in the description of the previous episode. It's an organization basically trying to write to Congress and stuff and see if we can get some fucking help for these music venues, because if they all go down, my whole world is over.
Yeah.
But no, so tell me about the campaign itself.
Yeah, okay, great. So the campaign right now, we are just basically, our team is going out. Normally when we go out on the street outreach, we go about twice a week.
Okay.
And right now with the need, we're going out 4 to 5 times a week.
Holy shit.
Just because so many shelters and like other places that folks would get resources and get food and stuff, a lot of things are closed. We are considered an essential service, so we're still able to be in touch with the public, obviously adhering to as many, safety and social distancing guidelines as possible. But we are going out a lot more, and we're finding a lot more need. Not necessarily more people. We have seen some new people in the last month and a half, but more higher frequency of the people that we would normally see. They
need. They don't have access. So what you're saying is it's you've seen a few more new people in the last month since all this stuff really started popping off, but the needs of the people you normally see have increased.
Yeah.
Because of shortages and everything that we're all dealing with.
Exactly. Yeah. So, grocery stores obviously are more wiped out than normal. A lot of churches in Detroit do a lot of outreach work and do, food drives and meals and things like that. And quite a few churches are closed. Not all, but
Right.
quite a few are closed. So those things that folks would potentially normally rely on aren't there as much right now. So that has, in turn, we've decided to go out more on outreach. So the campaign is a t-shirt fundraiser, and we're just trying to raise a little extra money to cover the cost of the extra outreaches that we're doing right now. So it's a shirt with our logo that says Elli's House. It's a black t-shirt. The logo is in white, and it says Elli's House fights COVID.
My kind of t-shirt.
Yeah, it's a black shirt. So I'm glad you like it. But if you visit our Facebook at Elli's House 313 or Instagram, the links are on there as well. You have the link too, so maybe you can include that in the description.
No, yeah, send me the link to the campaign, and I'll put it in this video in the description. Yeah.
Perfect. But yeah, the shirts are $25. They're through Custom Ink, which I've used before. The quality is pretty good.
Yeah, no, that's a good printing company. Yeah.
Yeah. And the nice thing is that they'll ship right to your house. So wherever you are, if people are worried about picking things up right now, of course, you can order it right online. They'll ship right to your house, $25. There is a small shipping and handling charge. I do want to say that because I hate it when people don't, and then I spend more money than I thought. I think it was like $5.
That ain't bad.
Yeah.
So it's
for a good cause,
Elli's House 313.
Yes.
Okay.
Elli's House 313.
Hop on there, get a t-shirt, and like I said, when I do get my t-shirt, I'm gonna wear it on the show, and we're gonna talk. Maybe I'll have you back on, and we'll talk more about it and see if, because that'll be a few weeks from now. So maybe, I don't know, maybe you'll have some new stuff to talk about.
Sure.
But yeah, I wanted to have you on for a minute right now because I noticed that email. I was like, well, I don't want to I got the shirt, but I want to talk about it now. So,
that's
I don't
great.
want to wait 2 weeks, or 2 weeks after when does the campaign end?
Yeah, great. The last day is May 11th, which is a Monday. So not this upcoming Monday if you're listening to the episode today, but the following May 11th is the last day, and they will ship 2 weeks after that. So you'll have it just before June. Okay.
So yeah, this episode will be released. What is today? Today's Thursday. So this episode, you know what? Just for that, I'm going to release this one earlier than I anticipated. So I'm going to release this episode on Tuesday the 5th is when people will hear this. So by the time you hear this, you still have 6 days to hop on Elli's House 313 and cop yourself a t-shirt.
Yay.
Sexy ass t-shirt. They come in black. So that's what matters.
Black is the only option, so everyone will look good in it. Last thing I want to say too, just while I have you and we're on the topic of trafficking, human trafficking and sex trafficking is it's a global problem. It's especially bad in Detroit for a variety of reasons. I like to call it Detroit's best kept secret because it's happening all the time. I can rattle off some stats if you want. If a child runs away from home, statistically, within 48 hours, a pimp will be in contact with them. So it's wild. And if, there's all kinds of Michigan runaway youth pages and things like that where kids run away from home for a variety of reasons. But it's not just kids. Most of the people we actually see, at least over on the east side where we're at, are not older women, but they're older. They're not minors. They're 18 and over. So, but we see people of all ages, all races, all walks of life, folks that were born and raised in Bloomfield Hills, as well as
and for people
Flint. In other states even. Yeah, other states even.
Bloomfield Hills here is like a really well-off area there.
Right.
That's the rich, one of the rich neighborhoods.
Yeah, so we've seen it all, and there's a lot of reasons that people fall into this life, and there's a lot of sad stories, but it really could be anyone. So yeah, it's unfortunately something that isn't talked about a lot, and it's a very sad topic, and I know it's already a sad time with the pandemic and everything, but if you are feeling compelled and, you know, your heart is telling you to do something and you want to contribute, this is a very easy and small way.
And that's the thing, too, is I feel like a lot of people, I don't know, whenever something, I mean, we've never really experienced anything like this, but I almost feel like because we're all experiencing this thing right now, some people might be inclined, like, we're all experiencing this right now, which means that the things that were already a problem before this, like sex trafficking, are only worse now. These people need more help, like, than normal, because we all do. And fucking, yeah, like, this is not something to, I don't think, just because we're all experiencing pandemic, the problems that we are already facing and dealing with should not be put on the back burner. It's still a real thing, and there are still victims, and they need more help right now, just like the rest of us than ever. So yeah, if you and hey, you know what? Lots of people are out of work right now. Lots of people can't get in touch with unemployment. It's not, so if you don't have $25, fine. Like, if you can't drop the money on the shirt, hey, it's all right. But maybe hop on Facebook, share the story, share the link, spread the word, be more vocal, and that gets the ball moving too. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
If you can't drop, like, here's an analogy for we obviously talk about a lot of, like, the musicians and the tours that are canceled, the venues, everything like that. The analogy to that for this would be, if you can't buy the band's merch, then stream the music at least. Share the music, and if you can't support the bands that you love right now, or the causes, if you don't have the monetary ability to do that, then at the very least, share it, get it out there, use your social media as your weapon. Yeah, and that's why I wanted to have you on, was to get this shit out, and hopefully more people will see it and get involved.
Yeah.
Be supportive.
Thanks, big bro. Yeah, and thanks for saying that too, because I know money is tight for a lot of folks. So don't kill your pockets for this. But if you want to hit us with a like, a share, or hop on our website, hop on our social media, and just learn a little bit more about what's going on, that is also good too. So
fuck yeah. Fuck yeah.
Thanks.
Definitely. Thank you. Thank me. What am I doing? I'm sitting in the basement talking to the person that's actually on the streets doing this shit.
Hey, it all matters. Awareness is key, you know?
Fuck yeah. So, shit, I guess that's, that's the other thing I was going to say, is what you just said is Detroit's best kept secret, describing it like that. I feel like that is going to be the title of a Vice article one day. I feel like Vice is going to do a story about this, and that's going to be the title of the article, because they should. I mean, they've done a lot of great stories. They've actually done a lot of great stories about human trafficking and bringing awareness to it and stuff like that. A lot of them have been based in other countries. I haven't seen that many. I'm sure there are, but I just haven't seen that many based in the United States. But I think a Detroit one. They actually recently did a story in Detroit on those the not street racers, but the guys that do the donuts.
Oh yeah.
Did you see that?
I've seen not in person, but yeah, I've seen the videos. Did you see the
Vice story though?
No, I don't think so.
Yo, look that up. Look that Vice story up. I can't. Sunday Fun Day. Vice Sunday Fun Day was the name of the video. And yeah, it's just like a bunch of people that like to like go to abandoned parts of the city and do donuts, and then it gets broken up by the cops. And they're like, all we really want is like a place to go and do this. We're not trying to like fuck with anybody. We don't want to get arrested doing it. And then the city of Detroit actually provided them with a place to go and do it.
Oh, maybe I didn't see part of it or a different article, because I saw that, yeah, I think the chief of police was working with.
Yeah, well, it was part of that whole thing where there was that big story months back now, where like the group of street car racers shut down one of the freeways to do donuts.
Yeah.
That was them.
Yeah.
That was them. So like the cops were like super aware of these people, and like, you know what I mean? And like, yeah, like they said in the like the there was actually a follow-up video, I believe, that I haven't seen yet. But in the initial video, they're like, yeah, we just want, you know, a safe place to go and do this. We don't want to fuck. We're not trying to mess anything up. And And after that video, the Vice article or story came out, the city came through for him and did something cool on that level. So it'd be cool as fuck to see a Vice story about Elli's house and about this. And hey, we're getting it out there. So maybe we help.
Getting it out there really does matter. Yeah. And last thing I do want to mention too is like we're certainly not the only organization in Detroit. Alternatives for Girls has been around for at least 20 years, probably 30. They're in Southwest Detroit. They do amazing work. Covenant House, Vista Maria. Like there are a lot of folks, task forces, nonprofits, and just like neighborhood watches and things like that. So there are a lot of people that do care and are trying to make a difference and trying to help the situation. But yeah, we're happy and we're honored to play a small part in that and do what we can.
I'm happy to have you on and talk about it anytime you want. Or hey, you know what? Anybody this
What's
is
that smile?
This is a metal podcast. We get a little crazy. So, maybe some people are a little hesitant to come on something like this, but anybody that we don't have a giant reach, but anybody that that ever wants to get the word out more and come on and talk about that, you just let me know. We'll make it happen.
Well, metal is very inclusive from what I've heard. So
yeah, everybody love everybody.
Yeah, so welcoming group.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm eating.
All you gotta do is love metal.
Dinner time.
All right, though. I will. I'll let you go. I'll let you get back to dinner. And thank you. Thank you very much for being on.
Thank you, Big Bro. And I will hopefully see you soonish.
Yeah. Hopefully we actually get to see each other sometime in the next fucking year. And not because you're away on Peace Corps.
Yeah, right.
Jesus. All right. But thank you so much for being on. Thanks for talking about it. Once again, the link to all this is in the description below. Be sure to check out Elli's House 313 on all the social medias and go to, I think you said Channel 4 Detroit. Look up the news story. Kate, my sister here, Catie, is featured in that story, and it's a great one. And you know what? I'll share it again. Once the day this episode comes out, I'll share it again on our Facebook, and maybe if I can find a way to put that link in the description, maybe I'll do that too. So check the description below for all these links, and thank you. Thank you for being on. All right.
Have a good night.
Yep. I'll hit stop recording, and then we'll finish this up. But thanks for being on, and love you very much.
Love you.
Bye. Dun, dun, dun. There we go. I think we're going. All right, sweet. So what everybody just got done watching was I did a quick 20 minutes at the top of this episode with my sister talking about Elli's house, and there was actually one thing I wanted to mention real quick. We did get you fucked up on the show. Shout out to Jimmy Jasta. We kept saying because a local Detroit news channel did a really good story on them that actually featured my sister Catie in it a couple months back. We kept saying it was Channel 4. It was Channel 7. It was Channel 7 News in Detroit. If you go to either Elli's House 313.com or the Channel 7 News Detroit Facebook page, you should be able to find the video on the story there. But Aaron is now with us. We are in the crypt. Woo! Woo! Here we go.
Back for another exciting conversation about documentaries.
Yeah. No, dude, honestly, these are like some of my favorite fucking episodes. Like, I love the documentary episodes. Yeah. Because, like, they do such an amazing job at, it's such a great, like, way to talk about everything in the scene in so many ways. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But tonight we are talking Viva La Underdogs. Parkway motherfucking Drive in the building tonight. So heavy in the building tonight. They just, you know what, I should have this up, but they just released, like, within the last 2 weeks. Well, actually, for a little while now, you've been able to get the live Viva La Underdogs CD or album, which is live at Wacken.
Yeah.
And then just like in the last 2 weeks or so, they released the full-length feature documentary, Viva La Underdogs, which is currently available on all streaming platforms that I'm aware of. We watched it on Prime. You can rent it for like $2.99 or $3.99 in HD or SD. And I'm not aware of physical copies yet, but fingers crossed. I hope that'll happen.
I'm sure they'll have something eventually.
I hope so. You hang on. You drinking anything tonight?
Matter of fact, I am.
Okay. Well,
less the Two-Hearted from the other night, really.
It's, it's Thirsty Thursday. It's been so long since we've been able to go to a concert, or possibly will go to a concert. Therefore, it's been quite a long time since I have tasted the blood of the gods.
Oh, man. Oh, I'm so jealous.
God, I saw this in the liquor store earlier. I was like, $4 for the little tiny bottle? Yeah, I'll take that. Oh!
Damn.
I wish they were a sponsor.
The
blood of the gods.
Yeah. Someday.
Yo, you see that fucking Assassin's Creed trailer for Valhalla?
I watched it.
Dude! Like, I can't even tell if it's a movie or not. Like, it looks so fucking... I had goosebumps. I was like, I've never gotten fucking goosebumps from a game trailer before. Like, this is ridiculous, dude. It looks unbelievable.
I saw they posted a couple different pictures and a few different logos and stuff about it, but I didn't know if they put a trailer for it.
They dropped the trailer this morning. I'm not a big game guy. I don't really care that much about games and stuff. But, occasionally, like, I love, like, Red Dead Redemption. Like, there are some games that I fucking adore. The Assassin's Creed has been one for me that I've been in and out of. But I got a lot of friends that really adore that whole series. And the idea of the Viking Valhalla setting is just...
I figured because the logo kind of looked like some stuff out of like the last God of War game, which is very based in that kind of like ethos. So
it makes me... Like, the Pirates was exciting, but now Vikings I'm even more excited.
Wow.
Like, because Black Flag was great. Black Flag was a really fun game. I did play that one. But this, yeah. When we wrap this podcast up, we'll watch that trailer. Because, dude, it's like, it literally looks like a trailer for the fucking Game of Thrones movie. Like, it looks that good. Like, and I think it's coming out on the next gen consoles. So it means I gotta fucking get a next gen now. Like,
that makes sense.
Damn it.
Yeah.
But I am kind of I actually am kind of excited about this new string of next gens. Because
it's like some of the like the information about it, some of like the the specs on the the PlayStation, the Xbox, like it's insane. Like, there's small computers at this point.
Yeah. Oh yeah. But as a very passive gamer like myself, when you start talking, finally we're gonna come out with the system that can literally play every game that's ever been released for these systems through their entire history. So total back playability and cross-platform playability between the Xbox and for a passive gamer like me, once you start dropping things like that, that's where I come back. That's when I get more into it than just passive. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because those are the things that I'm excited for.
Yeah, I feel like myself and a lot of other people have been waiting for that backwards compatibility.
Yeah.
With all the just being able to play anything whenever, and the crossplay stuff is huge. within the last within the last year at least, a lot of with like Fortnite and
in the last year we've been seeing more.
Yeah.
Yeah. And those were all basically, I think, like more or less test runs for what we're about to get with the next gens. So that's exciting. Cause it's just fucking stupid. Like, let's get over ourselves. Let's let them let the people play. Anyway, that was a random tangent. Fucking Jägermeister, blood of the gods. Cheers, brother.
Hey.
Oh. Dude.
Starts up here and it goes like
that drink. I have so many memories immediately tied to that taste.
Oh yeah.
And so many of them are at concerts.
Yeah, I think that's I mean, like I said, I don't really have it too often, but when I do, it's usually at shows and stuff, and that's usually
if we buy each other around, it's Jaeger. Like that's
Jack,
that's the reality of the situation. So, I mean, there are literally pictures of me on Facebook moments after having taken a Jaeger shot at a Lamb of God concert at the Fillmore in Detroit.
Yeah,
I watched part of Live Dominance earlier, which folds perfectly. I also watched part of the 2019 Parkway Resurrection Fest, and I watched the live Vakken videos that they've released earlier today as well. And I tell you what, you talked about this a little bit the other day when we watched both of the Murder in the Front Row and this one back to back. You were like, man, like watching these makes you feel that you're not going to concerts much more when you watch, like this makes you miss it that much more.
Oh yeah.
And this one especially, Viva La Underdogs especially, because Viva La Underdogs is so there isn't a narrator. Like Murder in the Front Row was narrated by Brian Posehn, which was awesome. He's he's someone I want to meet so badly someday, because he actually had a massive impact on me as a young metalhead through some of the VH1 documentaries he was in and countdowns and stuff.
Yeah. Some
of the things that he said in those made me start, like, I was like, oh, like that's an aspect of it. Like he showed me certain aspects of being a metalhead that I wasn't aware of, that I would have never been aware of or exposed to had I not watched that, because I wasn't around it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yes, Brian Posehn I love that guy.
He's always kind of like the I don't know, like the unsung, like kind of like one of the spokespeople for metal in pop culture, and like you know, Giller.
Him and like, Jim Brewer.
Yeah. Those were the two, and like a few others that were like VJs or whatever on MTV after a while, but like those were kind of the two that were always like, you know, you'd always see them on the countdowns and stuff like that, and so
and I mean, Brian Posehn was the first person I ever saw who was like he was like one of the first people I ever saw talk about like tour shirts, and that it was dude. That was it. Like, that was one of the biggest things. Like, he's the one that was like, if you go to a concert, you have to get the shirt with the dates on the back.
Yeah.
Every concert I've been to in my life, if there is a fucking shirt with dates on the back, I've bought it. Like, because of that him. And then he even talked about like some of the more like, you gotta have the Maiden shirt. And he talked about like drawing the logos of all the bands on all your fucking notebooks and everything. And I started doing that in school after I saw that. Like, dude, such a big impact. It's actually fucking insane to think about. Like those little things that I would have never been exposed to.
Yeah.
Because I was the only fucking metalhead in my entire fucking school. The only one. Like
it's a little different for me. I had a few different groups of friends that were kind of into the same thing, but to a point, I was kind of the odd one out in a sense like that, like drawing on notebooks and, you know, using pen on yourself and like just drawing over shit, like just, you know, doing dumb stuff. Having to like wash it all off and having like marks on your arms because the shit like set in all day.
Yep.
But,
oh my god.
But yeah, that's true. Yeah, he did kind of. Maybe to a lesser degree for me personally. I feel like I just started doing it because I, you know, was just.
I was gonna say that's just my personal experience, like being like a 13, 14-year-old watching that shit on VH1, just getting into all of this music. You know, I honestly, I think it was the fucking that. You know what? One of these days, I'm gonna have to sit down and try to go dig through the archives on the internet and try to find all these old VH1 documentaries and rewatch them. Like top metal 100 metal moments, 100 least metal moments, like all that shit, all the fucking metal countdowns, because those.
Oh man,
me watching those and like people like Brian Posehn on those are with me as a young metalhead. That those almost in like a weird sense became like my metal peers. Like I was like, I don't know anybody else that's into metal, but the people on these shows are like teaching me in a sense what being a metalhead is, and like the little, you know, the uniform, the fucking drawing on the notebooks, the you know, all that shit, like the DIY till you die mentality. Like, yeah, man, I'm gonna have to go back and find those.
If you do find any of them, you should let me know, because I haven't thought about that in, dude, I don't know how long.
Lost in the Park. Lost in the Park. Lost in the Park. Are you serious? I just fucked up the name of the podcast. Lost in the Dark.
We gotta restart this.
Yeah, we might have to. We might have to now. Oh, baby. This is going to be a good one. New episodes of Lost in the Dark. That's my mission for this weekend. I'm going to find those fucking documentaries and we're going to watch them. And we're going to talk about them on the podcast, just like we're doing right now. Like we did on the last one with More in the Front Row, Viva La Underdogs. Now, hey, we don't have live shows to talk about anymore, so we got to find something. Yeah. And luckily, geniuses have released two incredible documentaries, Murder on the Front Row and Viva La Underdogs. Viva La Underdogs follows Parkway Drive. That's one of my favorite things about this documentary is the narrative. There's not a narrator, but there is a narrative. And the narrative is the road to Vakken. They have, okay.
The only real narrative that there is from Winston, who does the kind of like opening, like in and out kind of stuff. But like other than that, there's not really. There's
narrative, but not a narrator.
Oh yeah.
Narrative is just like the story, you know what I mean? But like
I get what you're
saying. The road to Vakken. So we know, okay, real quick before we Vakken is a festival that is so big. It is scheduled definitely anywhere from 12 to 8 months in advance. So they know who's headlining right within if not already within a few months after this year's per se Vakken happens. You know what I mean? Mm. So Parkway finds out that they have been given the headlining spot at Vakken, the biggest metal festival on planet Earth. And
your favorite band's favorite band has played this festival. Like that's
everyone.
Yeah, next to Download probably. Like
and this documentary essentially not from the. It starts from the beginning of the tour that ends up ending at Wacken. Now, for anybody watching the show that doesn't, we should do this off the top. Aaron, let me ask you, what is Wacken to you?
It is a mystery, a fairy tale, because I've never seen it in person. But it's also just kind of from my upbringing, from what I know of it, from what I've taken of it, it's like the place to be for, like, it is the end all be all of metal festivals, of metal shows. Like, it's what is it, like 2 or 3 days?
Something like that.
Yeah, of just nonstop, like, and from the second I saw it in the Metal Headbangers Journey documentary, the second I saw that, and like just kind of walking through, because I think that was the first time that anything had really documented, like, just the whole, like, environment and the experience there. But like after seeing it and stuff, it's like, man, like it's something that I feel like I have to do, like I have to witness at least once in my life. Like, it is just like, there's anybody who's really anybody in extreme music and in heavy music has played this. So it's like a gigantic deal. Like, I don't really know, like, as far as like mainstream, like what to compare it to as far as like bigger festivals and stuff. Like,
I mean, it's the Lollapalooza, it's the Coachella.
Yeah.
But in a sense, arguably bigger than either of those festivals.
Yeah, it's kind of on its own, really.
So Metal Headbangers Journey is one of those documentaries that I saw for the first time on VH1 back in the day when all those documentaries we were just talking about came out. Metal Headbangers Journey was released in 2005. It's fucking 15 years old. And
it still holds up.
And now that you say that, thinking back, you're right. I would have been 15, and that is when probably the first place I found out about Wacken. I didn't even fucking put that together in my head until you just said that. And it did document what that place is. And it's kind of, it solidified it in stone for me as a fan, as metal mecca. It is what you just said, the end all be all. It is every metalhead's dream to go to Wacken. It is every metalhead's dream that's in a band to play Wacken. It's the mecca. It's the ultimate place for our subculture. It is where every year, it is where it explodes in a way that is unseen anywhere else on planet Earth. You know, we've got a lot of other really big, great metal festivals. Download. You know, we got Bloodfest. We got Summer Breeze. There are some really great, but they're all in Europe. None in the United States. And Wacken is in Germany. So for fans like you and I, and here's another thing about metalheads, most of us aren't very wealthy and can't just like afford a ticket to Germany off the whim. So, or a ticket to Wacken, because that's expensive too.
Yeah.
And so it's for metalheads in the United States, at least that's how I've always felt about it. For metalheads in the United States, Wacken is the pilgrimage to Mecca. And it's it's one we all must make at one point in our lives, in my opinion. Yeah. And thy will be done.
Oh yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I'll find a way to make it.
Oh my God. How did, until this moment right now, did I not realize that when we finally get to Wacken, we will be able to document and record the whole thing for the podcast.
Oh, dude, that'd be a
Lost in the Dark. Lost at Vakken.
Yeah.
Oh my God. We need to get this thing. We need to start fucking finding a way to make money off this thing so we can like write all those expenses off in taxes and shit.
That's an off-air conversation. But I agree.
Fuck it. We'll find a way. Metalheads find a way. But yeah, man. So that's, I mean, you know, Vakken is the biggest heavy metal festival on planet Earth. For many of us, it is the Holy Land. It is where we must go to one day. We must experience one day. Everything that we have ever loved that has anything to do with metal exists there in a way you and I have never experienced. And every band we have ever loved has been on those stages, and it's absolutely so. For Parkway to be who they are, to have come up through what they have done, and to finally get to the point where they're at the headlining spot of Vakken, for them to go, we need to document this. That alone solidifies them for me forever as one of my favorites. Like, they, as a band at the level that they are at, just now getting with the fucking Reverence album, just now getting on the fucking radio play and terrestrial radio play and stuff. They're reaching heights that most bands in this genre never see. And their big documentary is about their road to the biggest, hardest, realest metal festival on planet Earth. So that for me forever puts them in the category of like, just like, it's as clear. This music, this hard, crazy metal music that we all love, is just as important to them as it is to us as fans, and that solidified that for me. What were you gonna say?
I was just for what I was gonna agree, because like, you can't, I don't know, it's hard to because when this first came out, when I first heard about this, I was kind of surprised that it was Parkway that was, you know, the big headliner for that year and stuff, and it was like it. But to kind of go back to what I know about them, you know, it's a band from Australia, from like the smallest part of Australia, that didn't really start from anywhere, that kind of, you know, came up and, you know, had a super unique sound and just a different like style and everything. And, you know, they started off way heavier than they are now, obviously. I mean, anybody that's followed them kind of knows this, but like their sound has kind of changed throughout the era, you know, throughout the years and stuff. And it was cool to kind of see, because they put out a documentary, it looks like in 2009, that was about like the history of the band.
Yep.
I can't quite pull what the name of it is.
Keep talking, I'll pull it.
Home is for the Heartless.
Yeah, Home is for the Heartless. Yeah. It
was around the Deep Blue era, and I remember seeing that and watching that and being like, man, this is like, I didn't think this band was quite as like.
And that I believe that documentary is available for free on YouTube.
Yeah,
watch that shit.
Yeah, it's really, really good. It's kind of in line with this one, but it was cool that they almost kind of like picked up where they left off with that one into this one.
That's actually
10 years ago.
Yeah, I didn't even think about that, but that's a good point.
Like it opens with them talking about like within the next like 5 or 10 years, they're all in the van driving somewhere, and they're all asking each other like where they're gonna be at and stuff. And so it was just kind of cool. But like, yeah, like I guess my point being is that sometimes I kind of forget how big of a band they actually are, because I kind of forget because they're not always on the top, like the list of conversations of like gigantic bands at the time, like right now. You know what I mean? As far as like popular bands.
Yeah, no, I mean, real quick side note, Parkway Drive, the DVD, came out in 2009. Home is for the Heartless came out in 2012, and of course, Viva La Underdogs in 2020.
Oh,
but no,
okay.
I agree in that. Okay, first of all, they, in a big bad way, they have a similar story to many of our favorite bands, right? They have they came from nowhere and just had this unique sound at this right time, much like your Cannibal, much like your Dahlia, much like a lot of our favorite bands' stories. So they definitely had that already going, and then yeah, like they don't seem to be the focal point of the conversation as much as they should be in the headliner conversation. You know what I mean?
Definitely, yeah.
But this documentary does nothing but prove that. And the crazy part is what we saw in that documentary, they were about to bring here to the United States this fall with Hatebreed. Obviously, that is unlikely to happen at this point, at best, but
yeah.
So America has yet to. You know what? Actually, we'll get back to that. America has. You know what? I'm gonna write that down real quick. Because, hold on. Actually, real quick. Tell me, I don't know what's on. I don't know what's on the back. When did we get this? When's the last time we saw them? Was that 2018? Here, look at the back of my shirt. See if it says it. Is that it? Anywhere?
I still can't see it. Yeah, 2018 it looks like.
Okay.
Yeah.
Couldn't tell. So spring 2018. Yeah, at the intersection is the last time we saw them here in Michigan. And I believe they actually did have they did play one show here that I missed. They have played in Michigan one time, and I missed it, and it was the co-headliner with Killswitch Engaged.
No, we went to that.
We did?
I think, yeah. Or no, that was with Lamb of God. That's right. Lamb of God did a tour of
yeah.
There was a tour that they were doing for Atlas, though, that we saw. That was the first time we saw him.
No, yeah, that was the first time we saw him at St. Andrews Hall.
Yeah, I don't remember who that was with. I thought that was with Killswitch, but
no. I think it was really just. I think they had an opener, but I think it was pretty much just them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But no, they had a co-headliner with Killswitch at the Fillmore, I believe in 2019. I think it was early in the year, though.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure.
Seems like I do remember seeing something about that.
I'm really
summertime.
I'm really bummed that I fucking missed that one. Mad at myself for that one for sure. But this show, what we saw in the documentary, was supposed to come to America here in the fall, and it may not happen now. But in any case, the next time they come, they will be seen by us. Like there's no, there's no going back now. There's no going diehards. There's no going back now. So basically, the documentary opens with the very beginning of the Reverence 2019 tour in Germany. Basically, when they start rehearsal and when they start working out the pyrotechnics, the lighting, all that stuff. And the show, the documentary starts off with a really great kind of, montage about their road to Wacken, and with Winston doing like this, some narration, where in that narration, he says, Vakken is not a headlining spot that can be bought. It must be earned. And that
100%.
That is what it is.
Yeah.
That is what metal is. That is what it is. And then they go kind of after this really great intro montage, they kind of go into the scene where the band in this room, and they're talking about how they're literally they're pretty much losing money on every show of this tour because of how much money they're putting into the production. Mm-hmm. And they view this as a reinvestment. Do this and get bigger and get better. And that is their like. There's a point in time where someone in the band literally says, "That's apparently, I guess that's our business plan. We just spend more money than we make on our own production in hopes that it's worth it and it gets bigger and better and more people into it and everything." And that it's right there. It's that Dahlia, that cannibal mentality almost that we've seen in those documentaries. And then yeah, they literally talk about during rehearsal how they fucking blew the sound guy's ears out during rehearsal because of how crazy it got in the pyro caught like some lights on fire or something like during rehearsal. Like and yeah, just fucking insane. And this is a band. Also, another big thing to note about them is they are self-managed. The band themselves plans the stage show, manages the band, books the band. They don't have extra people on the payroll doing all that shit for them. They are doing all that. So that's something that blew. I guess I didn't really have a full grasp of that. Also, a thing I wanted to mention is that CJ, lead singer of Thy Art Is Murder, is big time featured in this documentary. He is
the other gigantic Australian band.
Yes.
Right now.
Fuck yes. There definitely needs to be a North American Thy Art Parkway tour. And Parkway Drive for me is one of those bands where like I have a weird, like I had a buddy whose place I would go to, and he would often play like relatively hard music, and it would be like and then it'd be like wah, 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 singing, you know what I mean? And I'm like, all right. But then one day I'm over there and like 3 songs in a row go, and all 3 of them are good as fuck, and I know for a fact one of them was Carry On, and yeah, it was Horizons by Parkway Drive. He had in the CD player. I was like, who the fuck is this? And he's like, it's a band I know called Parkway Drive. And I heard that name, I went, that doesn't sound like what I'm hearing. Like, what the fuck is that? And then you look them up and they're like surfer dudes, you know what I mean? Like they aren't fucking covered in leather and spikes or black or anything. They're out on surfboards in the sunlight. Yeah. So, you know what I mean? And
I remember a long time ago, I think when we first started talking about them, you said something to that effect. You were like, man, like, what's up with all these bands like coming out being heavy as fuck but not looking that way? And I was like, I don't know. You're like, yeah, like this. I don't know. Like they come out like polos and stuff. Like, what is that shit? Like, it is true. Like, it is kind of off. It's weird, but at the same time, like you can't really, like, it's cool to kind of see that because they kind of like that's something that sets them apart. Really,
it not only sets them apart. I feel like it. Without their music doing it, it makes them as individuals more accessible. But I mean, and that's what it is. That right there is fucking, the proof is in the pudding. Doesn't matter what you look like. If you're putting out the hardest shit that's out there, we're going to pay attention.
Yeah.
And, and they were, they're very much to me in some ways You know, they're just free. They're free. They're fun loving. They just want to have a good fucking time, just like Dahlia, just like fucking, you know what I mean? Like a lot of, they're just like that, you know, they got everything on lock, you know what I mean? But they're also that like loose, outdoorsy, you know what I mean? Like fun guys. So
seems like a band you'd want to like hang out with.
Yeah, in a big bad way. And they look like their parties would be awesome. And so that was kind of my intro into Parkway. And then once I, you know, actually like went home, looked it up, I was like, these are surfer guys, but that Carry On song is like unbelievable, like so hard, so fucking heavy, like, and I instantly became a fan of Parkway. And the first album that came out when I was like aware of them, like I think by the time I came in, they had already released Deep Blue, and I came in right before. Then so I would like the first album they released that I was excited about was Atlas.
Okay.
That's
kind of about the same.
Yeah. Because Deep Blue is fuck. Maybe that's the one. Which one is Carry On on? Is that Horizons or Deep Blue?
That's on Horizons.
Okay, yeah. Which one's on Deep? Is Deep Blue Deliver Me?
Yeah.
Oh!
And Deep Karma, bunch of some other ones.
Oh my god! Deliver Me? It's over. It's
so
over.
glad they played that live.
Even the live version, almost the live version is because the regular version just goes deliver me, but the fucking live version is 1, 2, 3, 4, deliver me. You know what I mean? Like it's fucking. Oh, everybody jump! Like I miss it so much.
I'll say like kind of the thing that kind of made me think about him a little bit differently was not only seeing him live for the first time when it was on the before, like within like I think maybe Ire just came out because they played Bottom Feeder at the first show that we saw him at.
So we saw him on the Ire tour for the first time. I guess.
I feel like.
No, that kind of makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember them playing, I think, at least Bottom Feeder, maybe. I don't know. But
I should have brought my fucking ticket book down here. I could have looked it up.
Yeah. I forgot. Yeah, you would have that. But it was like I think the first time I ever listened to them was, and they kind of have a weird place for me, because they're not a band that I paid much attention to when they first came out, honestly. Like they were, I definitely knew of them, and I think more so when Deep Blue came out. That was the first album where they like caught my attention with.
I mean, Deliver Me is kind of like their Destroy Everything. You know what I mean? That song just hit.
Yeah. It will, and then it was Idols and Anchors.
Yep.
The shark bite song, I guess.
Yeah.
There's blood. Yeah. So it was that, you know, and then I kind of went back and like, I think like after Atlas, to my ignorance, I guess, I didn't really listen to Ire too much, just because it wasn't. I don't know. I was. It didn't really grab me the same way that Atlas or any of the other ones did. Because Atlas is a huge album in itself. Like there's so many really, really good songs on it. Now that I'm looking through it. But yeah, and then after that, they kind of took a real like different direction with it. It was almost like a stadium sort of like arena metal kind of a sound. And like ever since that, especially Reverence too. Except Reverence is way harder. Like it's a bit more of a, you know, an aggressive kind of sound that you're used to hearing from them a little bit, but it was, you know, and I feel like it was after we saw them on that tour, on that the last time we saw them, where it was like, you know, I liked Reverence when we saw them, and then when we actually like did and kind of like saw those songs is when it really kind of like came to life for me. And it was like, man, this is insane. Like, this is really fucking cool.
And you could probably dig back in the archives of this podcast and find the episode where we talked about that show. And I remember you saying that like once we finally got to see these songs live, like especially Pray and Wishing Wells, they hit so much harder. I'll never forget the first time. See, I'm kind of with you. Like, Ire was the first one for me where I definitely listened to it a few times when it first came out, but then I kind of like it didn't stick, you know? But I will never forget the first time I saw the video to Vice Grip. The one where they jump out of the plane and land on their own show. Yeah. Like, I was like, that is the greatest thing I've ever seen in my life. Like, you skydive out of a plane, land in a crowd, and start playing. Like, that would be fucking nuts. Like, it would, oh my God. I love that video. And that song has always been, like, honestly, through, like, I think I mentioned it on a previous episode, but before, like, through this quarantine, that song has been just grinded into my head. One life, one shot, give it all you got. Like,
I had that stuck in my head earlier today.
Honestly, it's been keeping me going through this shit. Like, it just one life, one shot. Oh my God, dude, I fucking love that shit. Yeah. So Vice Grip was always one of my. But now, honestly, their live set at Vakken featured Ire heavily. And this live performance in this live documentary made me, as I'm sure it did for you, go back and go, holy shit, this is a great album.
Yeah. Oh man.
Crushed.
Yeah.
Crushed, dude.
Even just looking at it now, you know, Vice Grip, Crushed, Writing on the Wall, Bottom Feeder, Dedicated. Like, yeah. Even like Dedicated, I forgot about.
Yeah.
So we heard it the other day, and I was like, shit, this is sick.
Unbelievable.
But I kind of feel like it's within the span of those two albums that they really kind of found their niche, like their big thing that was gonna kind of take them to that next level, just beyond, you know, kind of what they were before. Because I mean, they were definitely way heavier before, but now their style has changed in a way that it's very like, it's heavy in a different sense. Like, it's not so much like breakdowns and all this stuff and like, you know, just trying to be like super fast or whatever. It's more kind of focused on like the songwriting and like the live environment aspect of it. And I feel like they kind of doubled down on their you know, their strengths as far as, you know, what they're capable of live and what they're capable of just capturing in a songwriting aspect. Because a lot of the songs that are on Reverence and Ire are a little bit more easier to kind of listen to, I guess, maybe, than
accessible.
something off of like Horizons or Killing with a Smile. You know, like some of the really earlier stuff that was a bit more like along the lines of like a deathcore style.
You know, now that I think about it, their musical trajectory, at least, and arguably the career trajectory as well, because this is another band that came from nowhere, follows pretty closely to Whitechapel. Like, think about those similarities, and even in the same similar general timeline.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
I think I got maybe more so into Whitechapel than I did Parkway at the time.
But I'll say this too. Whitechapel has almost gone. Okay, the way you just said it was perfect. Parkway found their. It feels like they seems to have found their niche and been able to expand upon and go deeper into that live sound aspect. Whereas Whitechapel, I would say, was a more maybe experimental step. It was a much
So
it was a larger step in the sense of musical direction, because Parkway has still not. You could say they've injected some clean vocals, but it's not. It's just like, you better pray. You know what I mean? It's not really clean vocals like you'd. It's still yelling. It's almost like Winston trying to do his best Jamie Josta voice, like. And but still mixed in with the fucking growl. So I would say Whitechapel's musical evolution was a little bit more extreme from their in between their last two albums, more so than Parkway. But their general trajectory is actually pretty similar when you look at it.
Yeah. Well, I would say, like, I mean, you could always kind of tell that, you know, as far as, like, you know, musically, speaking in terms of Parkway, that once they kind of hit Atlas, kind of where they wanted to go with it in terms of, like, this, you know, the singing and in terms of, like, the actual, you know, just the overall, like, big sound of it, I feel like was a little bit more important than the heaviness to it. But at the same time, Atlas was a really, like, one of the more, like, darker albums that they put out. It had a really, like, I don't know, just the undertone to it, and just the feel of it was really different than a lot of the stuff that they've done. And I feel like they kind of went the way of, like, trying to do something more significant with their live show and with their live experience, and trying to capture that energy of it on record. Whereas opposed to Whitechapel, I feel like kind of took it from they got kind of tired of fitting in with the whole, like, you know, and it's kind of the same thing with Suicide Silence, maybe to a lesser degree, but, you know, there's a lot of bands that come from that heavier deathcore genre that we're kind of seeing now sort of break away from that and kind of wanting to do something different. And I feel like with Whitechapel, it's they've done it, and that they're, I mean, not to kind of talk too much about them because we were talking about the, you know, Viva La Underdogs, but, you know, they were the band that really, like, they've taken really small steps in their creative process within the last, like, within a span of about 3 albums, from the self-titled, or even from, like, you know, our Endless War, you know, and then to the Valley, even, like, they've taken these smaller steps to kind of set themselves up for this sound that they have now, which is really, like, it's heavy, but it's also in a sense of, like doing more, like, storytelling, I guess, doing more of, like, what the, you know, just doing different stuff with the song instead of just having it be like a live energy kind of feel to it. So in a sense, yeah, they both come up from the same kind of, like, you know, the same kind of, like, genre and, like, you know, like, crowd and everything like that, and really kind of split apart and shown that, like, they're pretty much, like, you know, standalone bands at this point. So
100%. Absolutely. So yeah, I don't know. That was just kind of a random.
Yeah.
But
that's a good comparison. I mean, there's been a lot of bands that have been like that, even over the last few years that we've seen, you know, that are kind of taking their sound and changing it up a little bit and coming out on the higher end of things, which I feel like is what we've seen a lot with Parkway, kind of since Atlas.
Mm-hmm.
So,
is your screen frozen?
I don't know. Is it?
It is on my end.
Is it?
Yeah. Oh, there you are. There we go. Perfect. All right. So yeah, like so let's get back into the documentary part. The first night of their biggest tour. Okay, so the Reverence 2019 tour ending at Wacken to date was their biggest ever tour by far. Biggest venues, biggest sellout crowds, biggest production, most money spent on production. And I ain't gonna fuck around. Like when you actually once the end of the documentary comes and you see the full production at Wacken, I've only seen stuff like that during an Iron Maiden or a Trans-Siberian Orchestra show. Like it's that level. Like it really is unbelievable. But the first night of the band's Reverence tour in 2019, their biggest tour in history in Hamburg, Germany, sold out show. The band, the night before they go on, all get hit with some kind of virus. I'm talking projectile vomit and diarrhea.
Yeah.
They are sick as fuck, the entire fucking band, and they get hit with this the night before the first show of the biggest tour in history. But guess what they did? Played the show.
I mean, I already know. I didn't know.
They played the show. They had spew buckets next to them, but they fucking played that shit, and it went off. It went off perfectly fine. Like it was fucking excellent. And then they go on, but that was, that's just the first of what will be many examples of adversities that this band has had to face.
They shed light to a lot of them on this one, which was interesting to me.
It was an aspect that I love. They're not afraid to show us in the documentary. They'll show us everything. And that's something that I loved about it. But then it kind of goes into like a montage of a series of successful shows following the Hamburg show. Then we get to what, as far as I could tell, was the first and only U.S. show of that leg of that tour, at least in California.
That was kind of like weird how they set that up, because they went from the U.S. and then all of a sudden it was like, oh, we're back in the U.K. again, and but yeah.
Honestly though, for a lot of big bands, like through the years, I've noticed that there are almost like, it's almost like there are like one or two, it's almost like there are at least two different routings that bands will take on world tours. And like, so through the years of watching and being a fan of Iron Maiden and observing every time they announce a world tour, a lot of times the world tour will consist of 1 or 2 dates in the United States, and those will be in California and New York. So that made sense to me. I'm like, that was probably that routing. I've seen that routing before for other bands, put it that way, for other headliners. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And bands that are coming with productions of this magnitude. So they play their show in California. And I don't know how, it doesn't really say how far into the show that they were, but at a certain point in the show, they exploded the PA system. Sold out show. The PA system explodes. And that's a wrap. Show's over.
Yeah. Dude, that was so hard to watch.
How did that feel for you as a member of a band? Because I know what I do when I watch shit like this. All I do is immediately in my head put myself in their shoes. I'm sure you do that too.
Yeah.
How did that feel?
I mean, that's like the worst nightmare, honestly. And to be at a show that was like that, like sold out and stuff, to have it kind of come down to like, I mean, that's there's elements of the live show that are like I wouldn't trade it for anything, and then there's elements of it that's like it can change so fast. Like you can go from having like one of the best shows you've ever had to just being really disappointed by the end of it. And like it's so like and it's more so I guess from a recording standpoint, but like I've heard it kind of put both ways. It's like there's nothing that kills the creative process more than technical issues, than just problems that you can't fix. And especially with this kind of a circumstance, like it was just seeing that is like, dude, like, oh man, like there's no way to come back from that. And you have all these people kind of like, and I guess the thing that I could like kind of tie it back to, even though I wasn't in the band, was the whole the time when Medica played with Devil Driver. You know, we had like what about like 3 or 4 songs in, like one of the biggest sets ever, and then it just kind of ended.
I was actually on the side of the stage during that, filming.
I figured you were gonna bring that up. That's why I said something about it.
I actually wasn't. Really? Wasn't.
Oh, okay.
I hadn't even made that connection.
Yeah.
But no, yeah, I guess, yeah. So for anyone new to this show, I guess, the reason Aaron and I met because I sat down in one of my college classes one day. The college class I was taking, I fuck with you not, was called a rock and roll history. I was like, you got to be shitting me.
And that same class too.
And I happened to sit next to this guy one day and it also happened to be this day where the teacher asked the entire class if they had listened to music on the way to class, and if so, that he asked us all to say what we listened to on the way to class. And I gave a guy I worked with at ACO, where you worked as well, was taking the same class. And he lived right around the corner from me, so I fucking gave him a ride to work, or to a ride to class. And he sat like way up in the front row. I sat in the back row, like the backest cornerist I could get, which happened to be next to this guy who already took the back corner. And he got to the guy I gave a ride to work to, and he turns around to me. He goes, where are we listening to? I don't know that band. I go, Children of Bodom, Hate Crew, Death Roll. And the guy next to me happened to be our friend Sisto, who was the lead singer of a band called Medica. And he was like, oh, I'm a fan of Children of Bodom. He started talking to me. We became friends. We actually ended up having another class. I think it was the next class that night was called Band Management that we were taking together. And so we had like 2 classes together, and then the classes ended, months passed, thought I'd never hear from him again. He hits me up out of the blue and is like, hey, I'm in this band now, and we're kind of looking for a guy to help out, to like be a roadie, be a merch guy, just kind of like, you know, give us a hand during the live performances and stuff like that. You get free ticket to every show we play. Are you interested? I was like, he's like, I know you're into metal. You seem like a cool guy. Like, would you be interested in this? And I was like, yeah, yeah, I'd be real interested. And so I came on and started being their main guy and every show. And that included the time that you're talking about right now, where they opened for Devil Driver at Harpo's in Detroit, where it was like an all-day festival situation. It was like a shit ton of like 20 or 30 fucking local bands, and the Devil Driver's coming on. And the whole day was a fucking mess from the get-go. Not on our end. Not like we showed up early. We were good to go. Like we had everything ready. Like everything was good on our end. But the organization of the show was a shit show. And so like bands were like going on at the wrong times and blah, blah, blah. And everything was disorganized. And then Medica finally comes on, and they're supposed to have like, I think like a 20-25 minute set. They ended up with like a 7 or 8 minute set. The entire thing is on film because I was filming it on the side of the stage. I don't know where that film is, but we need to find that shit.
Yeah.
We need to find that shit. It's time. So that's a thing. And and it wasn't because a PA blew up or anything, but similar to what happened to Parkway,
Yeah.
the set gets cut. You're left in front of this massive audience that was, some of them were there to see you. In Parkway's case, all of them were there to see them. A sold out show. And of course, but quick fast forward, Aaron becomes the drummer of Medica, and that's how you and I ultimately meet for the first time.
Yep.
At Medica's just hours before Medica's album release show at the Loft in Lansing is when we met in Sisto's driveway.
Right, like
I remember
it's from where I'm sitting right now.
I remember it vividly, like the first day we met. So, yeah,
that was cool.
Yeah, who knew it would lead to this?
Hey.
So, but yeah, that when I saw that happen to them, it just broke my heart for them. And like Winston kind of even came in with a little bit, like you're right. He did kind of narrate a bit throughout the documentary, and he came in with the narration there, and he was like, "We are a band where if we don't care if we're throwing up, we play through broken bones. We don't stop playing if we're bleeding, or you know what I mean. Like everything to us is delivering the live performance. And when something happens that's outside of our control and that we can't fix like that, that's, and the band literally came out and hung out with the crowd. Like they didn't just like leave, you know what I mean? Like they still tried to give the people that came everything that they could. And then there's literally this scene, there's this shot of Winston and I don't know who they, but two of the other band members, I don't know which ones, standing in the empty venue looking at the stage. And it was just like, oh, yeah. Like they literally just like went out and hung out with everyone until every single person in the place left. And
yeah,
man, that must have just, but then, that happened.
I guess to kind of add to that, like it's like, to me, that's one of the coolest parts about, about documentaries like this, and about just things like, just seeing the real inside baseball of what playing shows and what being a live band is like, just kind of seeing that stuff and realizing that, like, to me, there's nothing more eye-opening than seeing something like that happen to a band of that caliber, because there's always, it kind of puts in my mind, like, you got to be prepared for anything. There's nothing like set in stone. There's nothing that's ever going to be 100% the way you want it. And that's like, I've felt that before, like personally, but just to kind of see it to that scale, to that level, and know that like there's still like you could be the hot, biggest selling band on the planet, but there's still going to be those little things that every once in a while kind of catch up with you. And, not every show is going to be the best it's ever going to be. Not every, but you still got to just kind of power through that kind of stuff. And so it was just kind of, I don't know, it was just like, I don't really know of a whole lot of other documentaries that have really kind of shown that side of things, but of the last few that we've watched, and of the last couple that I've seen, like you don't really see that side of things. It's mostly like, like the glory of it and all of like the, like the high points of it and stuff. Like you don't really ever get to see the struggles and the, I mean, like there was that point where they were like, they came off stage after a show that was, that went really well. I don't remember where it was at. It was kind of earlier before that one that we were talking about. and I guess like somebody hit somebody else or something like that happened, something like small happened, and like all of a sudden it just kind of like brought the energy down of everything else after the show and stuff. And it's like to a point, like in the past, I kind of felt that. Like there's just been little things like that have happened, and it's kind of like, you know, like that never really goes away. You just kind of learn to deal with it in different ways is kind of what that showed me. So I don't know, it's just something I took from it.
That was a really crazy thing that they showed, because I feel like that's something that happens a lot with bands that I've never seen portrayed in a documentary of any kind, like where it's like, when I think Winston literally said, like, we just played like the best show we've ever played, and one little thing happened and it feels like now everything feels like shit. Yeah. Like, and it shouldn't. But literally for a band literally on that on that caliber to still be experiencing that, like that, it made me go, oh wow. Like yeah, it pulls back the curtain. It makes it more real. It's like, oh shit, like everything we experience now, we're still gonna, no matter how big we get, we're still probably gonna experience it. Like,
yeah. I kind of said it the other night, but like it kind of puts you in like this fifth member perspective.
Yeah.
Like, you know, like during the filming of it and stuff, like it really kind of puts you where like you're a part of it, but you're also seeing like the struggle and just everything that kind of brings it all together and stuff. So, I don't know, it's just cool. It's cool to kind of see that difference, and just something to kind of like remind you that like, well, and like the other thing that they kind of went back into after that, and I'm not sure if you were going to lead into this with it, but like there was that point in it where they were talking about just simply like, you know, just the time away that you spend, and just like the, you know, doing something different other than focusing on music, and just like, you know, like taking that extra time to kind of, you know, center yourself in a sense, rather than just kind of like, you know, going nonstop for months at a time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Because they even said in the beginning that the situation that they were in called for sometimes like being away from home for 6 months at a time and stuff like that. Like, and that's where, when they were starting too.
Yeah. It's a very human way of explaining it.
Yeah. Yeah. But then, so after the exploded PA in California, then they do literally a string of unbelievably successful European shows. They start hitting like the European summer festival circuit.
Just a second. You're back.
Oh no, yeah, go ahead. Yeah. And then they end up, well, you know what? Hang on. Maybe I'll just pause this for a minute. Wait till he gets back. How's everybody doing? Holy shit. We're an hour in. We're about an hour in. Well, probably like an hour 30 at this point with the intro with my sister. Again, Elli's House 313 to reach out and to support, share, like the page, you know, if you can't get the t-shirt or do a donation or anything like that, but you know, still definitely helps just by sharing on the social media and all that stuff. So thank you again, Catie, for being on and talking about that. That was an excellent time. It was awesome. It's actually the first time I've seen my sister since seen her, because I got to see her on the video since all this started, so that was really nice. Yeah, that's definitely a big one. But also, be sure to fucking watch Murder on the Front Row, which is the documentary we talked about in the last episode. If you haven't seen that yet, and you're a fan of metal and thrash metal especially, but metal in general, that's fucking immediately one of my favorite documentaries. Like, it's fucking outstanding. They did an incredible job with it, and I think everybody should see it, as well as Viva La Underdogs. One of the best, like, you know, there's documentaries about metal overall, and then there's documentaries about individual bands. And this is one of those individual band documentaries that I think is just fucking making a whole episode about it. So it's that good to me. I don't fucking... If it didn't give me goosebumps, I wouldn't be doing this episode right now. Put it that way. Like, it has to be fucking amazing for me to actually be able to sit down and be able to talk about it for this extended period of time. So trust me on this one. Amazon Prime, I think it's on, you know, all the streaming fucking things. Fingers crossed for a physical copy soon, but you can get the soundtrack, essentially the live performance on CD. That is available streaming and physical copy on all platforms. Their website and Amazon at the very least, for sure. So check them out. Check them out. Trust me on this one, people. If you're even a passive fan of Parkway Drive, trust me. Like, this is something you want to check out for sure. One little sippy poo left, everyone, of the blood of the gods. Cheers to you all. And hopefully Aaron will be back soon. You know, let's see. The last time I had Jaeger at a concert would have been November 2019. I wonder if we had any that night, though. I have to ask Aaron when he gets back. Shit, I don't know. Well, in any case, that concert would have been at St. Andrew's Hall, and it was Thyatira's Murder opening for Cannibal Corpse. Who also is a band. Cannibal is supposed to be working on something new. Hopefully they're able to be working on new stuff. I actually saw that Corpse Grinder was on the Metal Blade podcast. Or maybe no, they were on live on Instagram, actually. Brian Slagle and Corpse Grinder. Hey, buddy.
Hey, buddy.
Oh.
What were we talking about?
Well, we were about to get into the next part of the documentary, which so they did a string of European shows after the broken PA system that were really successful, and then they hit Resurrection Fest, which almost got stormed out to begin with. It was storming outside. And not only that, but then fucking basically at that show, like, everything. Resurrection Fest is in Spain, first of all. And basically everything blew up at that show, according to Winston. He said the pyro leaked and spewed oil all over the stage, which made the stage super slippery for them. And then it got oil over everything, and most of the pyros didn't work, and everything was fucking up. But what he did say, which was something that I especially loved, was that he was like, what tonight proved to me, or whatever, is that Spain is one of the most badass crowds that exists, because they kept singing along and keeping the band going through every fuck up. And the fact that you can be a performer on that level and have that many mistakes happen in one of your shows, but that to be one of your takeaways still means like that still, you know what I mean? Like that, to me as a fan, I'm like, that's what the fuck is up.
Yeah. Well, because a lot of times you don't really hear that. Like, you don't really, you know, when it's a lot of like explaining problems and issues and stuff, and it's like, you know, but at the end of the day, like if you still played the show, then that's kind of what's important. Like, And to me, that's always kind of been the thing is like, you know what, I feel like they kind of reached the point where it was like, you know, all this stuff was kind of against them in a way before, you know, beforehand. And then when they were playing and stuff, like the actual, the logo in the back, when he threw the Molotov at it, didn't go off and all this stuff. And like, you know, it was just kind of like seeing just like the disappointment, but at the same time, like just that kind of, you know, just enjoyment that it actually happened and stuff, and that they were still able to kind of put it on. But like, yeah, it was just, that's just something else that was kind of cool to see. And really, like, I have a lot of respect for that, because there's a lot of bands that are kind of at that level that won't sort of kind of present it in that way, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So then after, I mean, I can't remember if they played a few more shows after Resurrection or not, but after Resurrection is when they did what you were just talking about, and they 16 days away from Wacken, and they decided to go home.
Yeah.
Back to Australia. And you know, that anyway, they you know, they are Australian. They grew up in the ocean, on the ocean. You know, we are from Middle Michigan. We kind of grew up in the woods a little bit. You know what I mean? And I just find it interesting. I drew that connection when I saw what they were, you know, going home to reset, and they kind of like, you know, went surfing and did all those things. It kind of was like, yeah, that might be what I might do in that situation. That might be what I might do in that situation, that I might go to, you know, come home to Michigan and like go to a bonfire, you know, and stuff like that. Like we all have our connections with our home, and a lot of that is the natural environment of our home. And you know, they had the ocean, we have the woods. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, that's something that I took away from it too, was that, you know, it's that human side of things, you know, and I feel like everybody kind of does that, you know, has their own thing that they do after you've been away for a while, you know. Like, I mean, you hear it all the time as far as like, you know, talking about what bands or what some musicians do when they're not, you know, on the road around a bunch of people, and it's how it's like a whole different kind of mindset. But I don't know, with them, like it kind of showed that it was like, it was more just about like just doing nothing that had to do with it, that had to do with anything musical or anything like that, than it was to, you know, and just kind of like just like unwind from all of it. And so like, and I could definitely understand that. Like I haven't in my life yet done any extensive touring or anything like that, but I can imagine after a while being somebody that likes their space. Personally, like I would kind of have to find something that would, you know, help me kind of deal with that in a way. And like it's to a lesser degree, like, you know, it's when you play that, you know, that show for the first time in a while, or like you just have like a really good night, like the night before, and then you got to go back and like pretty much just have like this normal thing that you do, and it's like a really weird world. Like it always kind of hits me like right after a really good show, and then all of a sudden you got to go back to like what is like normal, I guess. Like it's two completely different worlds and stuff. And so I could see, you know, and you hear about that a lot as far as, you know, that like post-tour depression and stuff, and a lot of artists kind of struggling from trying to, you know, just be off the road for an extended amount of time. So it was, I don't know, it's just, I did actually really enjoy that part of it, because it kind of like, you know, it like the whole documentary to me was really like, it had a really like human element to it. Like it explained things in a way that you could understand it, but it also kind of like put it in a sense that like, you know, you could understand sort of where the issues were at, and like where, you know, where their heads were at and stuff during it, and like all of the little like conversations that you were sort of a part of during the, you know, when they were talking about all like the stage stuff, or like how it was all going to work. And like, you know, it's just cool to kind of see all of that and to kind of see like, wow, like they're actually like, even, you know, kind of going back to the last point, like even at that level, like there's still things that you deal with on the regular that is, you know, that we all deal with at any level. So
yeah. And no, that was good. That was good. And that's actually something you just said. I have something written down here. I was like, what the fuck does that mean? But so when you were talking, something you said reminded me that what I have written down is something I was gonna. So if you remember, in the documentary, they were doing kind of like, you know, some montages of them being at home and doing the things that they do, and then it goes back to them at band practice. When they're on the electric drum kit and everybody's got headphones on.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
And I wrote down what I have written down is what you said. This is what band practice is.
Yep.
And you were like, I'm so glad that they showed that, because it's 1% playing shows and 99% that.
Yeah, that's like.
So kind of explain that a little bit.
Yeah, I think it was the last Lamb of God documentary we watched. They had that same kind of viewpoint into things, where it showed like the comparison. It's my favorite thing in the world to see, like visually, because it captures it perfectly. It's like, you know, like you see what's on stage all the time. You know, you see like, you know, the lights and the, you know, the big crowds and the mosh pits and all this stuff. But then there's the other side of it where it's the 5 people in a room together just playing the songs, and it's as simple as that. Like it's, you know, and I was like, that's where, you know, that's where it really all starts at. Like that's one of my favorite things to see, because it's something that like it's the most like basic form of what you do, you know. Like every band anywhere has those practice sessions where and we've even laughed about it on stream before, and I think Mike has said it kind of the most, is like, he's like, it's so sick to hear in the headphones what's going on, and then he's like, when I take the headphones off, it's just tapping and strings without any sound. Yeah. Yeah. So just to kind of like to see that in that light was great for me. I love the fact that they put that in there.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Yeah.
So then the next thing I kind of wanted to mention was how during the, like how so for Vakken, they brought their families. Basically, their moms were all there and stuff like that. And Winston's mom came out on stage for the song Bottom Feeder, which anyone who knows that track knows it's a jumper. And fucking to see him bring his mom out and then tell a whole crowd, everybody jump the fuck up, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
And then his mom starts jumping on stage. I'm like, that must have been. I mean, that's one of those dream moments.
Yeah.
For anyone that's ever dreamed of being on stage, that's one of those dream moments right there.
That's the ultimate like, hey, look, mom, like I'm on TV kind of a deal.
But better.
Yeah, but yeah, even better.
This is better than TV.
Yeah.
Like, holy fuck.
The only thing that I was thinking during all of that, and the next part was the bassist. The bassist mom came out and she like crowd surfed during all of that. That was
and they even said here, I had that written down. We'll talk about it right now though. One second. Let me see. Bassist player, J.I.A. O'Connor is his name. I don't know. Jai.
I think Jay.
He broke his fucking knee, I think, during the 16 off days.
Yeah.
So it's just another example of, oh my fucking god, everything's gonna go wrong.
Yeah.
And so he had to perform in a wheelchair, and at the Vakken show, like you just said, she's the one that wheeled him out on stage. I think it was about 3 or 4 songs into the set. And she ends up crowd surfing.
Dude, I lost my mind during that. Like, and the only thing that I could think of was like, if I could give any of like one of my parents the chance to do that at any time, like how ridiculous that would be, and just like hoping that nobody drops them or like nobody, like, you know what I mean? Like there's so much of a risk to it.
Yeah.
That, like you just kind of wonder, like, all right, I hope this works.
And there was that shot after of her being like, "Oh, they were grabbing everything." It's like, Mom, Mom.
Yeah.
That was fucking hysterical, though.
Yeah.
Awesome that I loved that they put that in there so much. Because I was like, I've had that fantasy. I've sat there, you know, on nights watching fucking my favorite live performances going, man.
Yeah.
Like daydreaming about, you know, being bored as fuck at work and daydreaming about, oh man, playing at Pine Knob would be like, you know, like all those things. And when you actually get to see it played out in real life by one of your favorite fucking bands, it's like, oh my God, like not only am I not the only one that has these thoughts and fantasies, but it's people do it. It's possible. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Oh man. And then we fucking get to like what could have been the most goosebump moment in the entire fucking movie, where we get to, so that was, they were showing all that at Vakken, but then we get to really Vakken, and it shows them like right before the gates open out in the main field of where the crowd is going to be.
Mm-hmm.
And they're on these little like BMX bikes. And then the floodgates unleash.
Yeah.
And the hordes begin to run into the fucking venue. And then there's the members of Parkway Drive on their bikes leading the fucking hordes, dude. Fucking just like that scene of them doing that, just like immediately my arm hairs went from bing.
Yeah.
I was like, like, oh my God, they literally got to lead the fucking hordes in to the year that they're headlining that shit.
Well, there was that line that he said. It was it followed with the Moses from the Mosh, or Moses of the Mosh.
Moses of the Mosh. Yeah.
But he said
Moses of the Mosh.
It said we something to the effect of like we started, or we go from the crowd to the stage, which is where it all kind of began, or something like that. And like that in itself was like, yes. Like that, exactly. Like that is, I have never, I can't, well, I don't know if I've never seen it, I guess, but I can't really think of another time where it was the band like walked out from the crowd onto the stage. Like that's
not a fucking Vakken.
Yeah.
Because you have like
there,
so many people to walk
through. Yeah. Well, even at the Resurrection Fest video, like the first like 5 minutes of the video is just them walking through the crowd to get to the stage.
And that was exactly the next thing I was gonna say, was the walkout after seeing them lead the charge.
Yeah.
Their walkout. Like the arm, like the hairs on my arm were starting to jump off. Like my arm is hairless right now because of this shit. Like it was so electrified. Like I felt it. I felt that fucking electricity, dude. Like not, I can't even fathom it if you were actually there. But being someone who's been to as many shows, I could feel the electricity of like the greatest shows we've ever been to. You know what I mean? Like surging.
Yeah.
And it was so fucking amazing.
That's what's so great about that is you can relay it back to anything, like any show that you've ever been at, where it's like fuck yes, like looking around and knowing that as soon as the first note hits, like it's war, like that kind of a feeling.
Dude, exactly.
So.
It's total fucking chaos.
Yeah.
Like, oh my god. Hold on. Yep, Moses of the Mosh. Yeah, I had that written down. And then, yeah, I was just gonna say, honestly, Blend's recording. Honestly, yeah, like the last thing I was gonna say about it that I have written down, because it ends at Vakken. It ends and it shows us the full scale of the performance, the full everything, and everything went off without a hitch, and it's one of the most insane live performances. There's a few videos they released like The Void, Wild Eyes, and one other one.
I want to say Absolute Power.
Might have been.
I think.
And then the rest of them, the audio is released with like lyric videos, but the live physical video of the live performances are on YouTube of those 3 tracks at least. And then there's even more in the documentary. So watch this shit. And
I need to get a copy of it.
Well, yeah, they don't have physical copies yet. So hopefully they come out with a physical copy where it's like one disc is the documentary and then the other disc is a fuck ton of extra features and including the entire pro shot of the live performance.
Yeah.
Cause
it's like they put out
fuck out of that.
Oh yeah. Yeah, definitely. This is like one of the better ones that's come out in the last little while as far as like,
in a long time.
Yeah. I'm looking on like Spotify and stuff. They got the full album, and looks like they got 3 songs that are in German.
Yeah.
He's like shadow boxing.
Yep.
The Void, I think.
Yep.
They did in German, and then there was another one.
Yep.
Which is just another. I don't know. It's just cool to see that.
Kind of like bonus stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, when you talk about live performance albums, I feel like we've had this kind of conversation before. Like this one's starting to make its way up there. Like it's really good.
Yep.
It captures the entire essence of their live sound and their live energy.
Yes. Yes, it does. Yes, it does. It was outstanding. I feel like if it's set out to in any way, shape, or form, make me feel like I almost know what it's like to be at a Parkway show.
Yeah.
This got close.
Not
close, but as close as we can get right now. And man, like I just
yeah.
Like that shit chills, dude. Chills.
Ever since that came out, I've been listening to it more and more. Like more so than their actual songs. Like
oh yeah, no, all day today
yeah.
I've just been listening to Parkway and Hatebreed. But mostly Parkway, and God, dude, it's and hey too, let's look, let me see this real quick. Hold on.
I just found all of my Hatebreed stuff from that show. I left it in my music room, I guess. on like a shelf, and I kind of forgot about it for a while.
I mean, oh, the stuff we got at the show.
Yeah, all like the
Oh
signs,
shit!
set list.
Oh yeah,
was like
the set list.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got that shit framed on my wall, baby.
Yeah. Well, I got to do something about it. I gotta figure out something to do because I got so much like sign stuff and like stuff that I want to do, like put somewhere, like frame it or whatever, because I'm afraid of something happening to it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I'll go through and try to find some stuff.
Should. Fucking frames are cheap as fuck at Michael's, bro.
That's yeah.
Local.
Shout out.
So I'm looking up though their album release history, and it looks like typically it's anywhere from 2 to 3 years for an album release, and Reverence came out in 2018.
Yeah.
So we're looking at maybe a new Parkway album within this or next year, if I were to guess.
I feel like it might make sense for something to come out this year, at least a couple of songs, because I feel like this was kind of in response to the current state of things, and having to like cancel tours and stuff. I feel like they've had this for a while, so
yeah,
maybe there's a possibility. I mean, it's only April,
May.
No,
it's May now. Oh
yeah.
Wait, is it? Oh no, it's April for another 2 hours.
Yeah. But anyway, yeah, like I feel like it, if they have anything, we'll probably see it like, maybe like July, possibly.
Maybe. If they have anything,
Summer.
maybe.
Yeah.
That'd be fucking awesome. Because I mean, like I can't remember what band it was, but I saw an article one of the bands that had to cancel their tour lost 60 grand.
It was aborted.
Oh yeah.
I read that same thing earlier. Yeah.
Like, fuck.
Carnifex as well.
Yeah.
Hit super hard. I don't remember.
Yep.
They lost like 200.
Yeah. Might have been like 100 or 200 grand or something. Yeah. There's an article about that too. Fucking insane.
Well, man, for them to I guess to kind of wrap up the Viva the Underdogs, dude, I feel so inspired by watching stuff like this, because it's very like like I always kind of hold live performances and stuff at almost in like live recordings and documentaries and things at a different sort of level than just regular albums, because I feel like there's a lot on the line, and I feel like it is really hard for bands to capture that live sound, as well as kind of keep the same energy of the songs, but also kind of present it in a way that is at the same like energy level as their albums. And it's also kind of hard to have a recorded version of a song that was played live at a gigantic festival and try to capture so much of that energy in an audio form instead of like without watching it. And I feel like this one is really no exception, man. Like I found myself listening to this more than probably, I don't know, a lot of their other like studio albums right now, at least. Like when I look for stuff from them, it's usually like the live versions of it, because it's cool to see how much energy and how much they just how much personality they put into these songs live.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
no, that's, you just said it all right there. I mean, this is one of the best live performance DVD situations that I've seen in a while. And the fact that it all culminates at Wacken just makes it that much more of a place we need to be.
I will make it. We will make it there one day.
Yes, we will.
I swear. Like,
yes, we will. Yes, we will. It's happening.
Either there or download, man. Like,
or both. Maybe both in the same year. I mean, if we're over there, we might as well hit fucking Download, Bloodstock, Summer Breeze, and all the rest of them. Brass Pop.
I've always wondered what it would be like to spend like a year just there.
It wouldn't even be a year. It would just be like 2 months.
Or just
the
like
summer festival season.
Yeah.
It's dude. Lost in Europe. Fuck. Yeah. Yep. We're making that happen. God damn it. We're making that happen. But, well, I guess, are you ready to wrap this one up? Got anything else about Parkway? Or anything else you wanted to get into?
I don't know. We did kind of get into some mall rats kind of stuff earlier. I don't know if you want to talk about that or not. I don't know if that would fit with this episode.
I mean, it doesn't, but it's a nice little tag at the end. The fact that today, for the first time, you saw Clerks 2 and Mallrats.
Yeah, I don't know how they're like old.
Like, I don't know. I don't know how you missed those ones. Okay, so you saw Clerks 2 earlier today, right?
Yeah.
So you. Okay, and Matt, hold on. What year did that come out? 2006. So I was 16 years old. And I went and saw that in a theater with my dad.
What?
Yeah. Yep. Yep.
But that was
Oh. It got rough at certain points, especially when Kinky Kelly came out.
Yep. Dude, that entire scene, I was like, what is this movie even? Like, what?
So yeah, what'd you think of him, Mike?
It was weird to watch those two specifically back to back, because like there were almost like things about it, and like I knew that they were within the same like universe, I guess, like the same kind of like, you know, like idea, like they were part of the same thing. And so watching, like I gotta be honest, I don't think that that Mallrats aged too terribly well. Like it's purely from a nostalgia sense. Like, and watching it from that kind of lens, I feel like I got more out of it than watching it as like, you know, like a 25, 30-year-old movie. Like, because it definitely feels like that. Having said that, I liked Clerks a lot more, the second Clerks. Because mostly like, and I just like the ending of it really was just kind of cool after watching the reboot and all that stuff, and like just knowing what happened after that and kind of like what led up to all this, and knowing that there's a remake of it kind of in the works, or like a third movie.
Clerks 3.
Yeah. So kind of seeing all that, I definitely feel like I got a little more out of that one. I didn't really understand what the whole thing with the Silence of the Lambs thing with Jay with that song, but it cracked me up every time. He's like, oh shit, oh okay, yeah, like like I didn't get it, but it just cracked me up for some reason. Like,
so funny.
Yeah, but like you could, I don't know, it's just like, and I think Clerks in all is just a little more relatable to me than probably Mallrats is, because I was like, I don't know, it was like 2000s by the time I was able to like go to a mall, like hang out and stuff, so shit was a little different. But at the same time, like, you know, I could, you know, you always kind of heard about like, you know, like the goth kids, or like the you know, the regulars walking around that are just weird and all is like the, you know what I mean? So
I mean, that one scene where like they're Jay and Silent Bob are playing music and Jay's just like,
yeah, yeah,
fucking love like moshing and shit. I fucking love that.
yeah.
So, Mallrats definitely has some of my favorite Jay and Silent Bob scenes, like that "Fly, fat ass, fly."
Oh yeah, dude, that was
Some of them are brilliant.
Yeah.
That's because that's where like the whole like the Batman Silent Bob thing started to kind of happen and evolved into Bluntman. But yeah, I mean, like that, such great. I love both of those movies so much. I love all of those movies so much.
Yeah.
And I'm happy that you watched them. You know what? We're gonna have to have. You know what? You're gonna have to fucking hit up Alex and tell him to be on one of these episodes, and we'll talk about these movies with him.
No, yeah.
Because he'll be like,
Definitely.
"What? You just saw those?"
Yeah.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah, it'd be a good episode.
Yeah.
I just like, I always like the fact that he put together such a crazy, like, kind of, I don't know what the term is. Like, he managed to put together a universe of movies that don't feel like they really go together, but at the same time they're almost like satire for the next one. Like there was the shirt that was on that Jay was wearing during Clerks 2. That was the Dogma shirt. It was the Buddy Christ. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like it was just I'm always like I've never really seen outside of like action movies or outside of like, you know, like the big comic book movies or whatever, anybody kind of, well, I guess there was the Shaun of the Dead. I don't remember what that's called. There were those collection of movies, but nothing that really like that was a comedy that was one like idea that transferred over to the rest of the movies. I guess I can't really think of any others that were like that.
And then I mean, he even went as far as to make serious movies and still have them connected in.
Yeah.
And like, you know, crazy ass movies and still have them connected in. And like, and you know, he's even got, you know, Kevin Smith just, you know, it is, as we talked about, Verminous came out and he just finished the script to Mallrats 2. It's the year of the rat, people. And that he finished that script and he a couple months ago revealed the plot of what will be Clerks 3, which sounds incredible.
Yeah.
And yeah, man, like there's it's awesome that you are really super getting into it now, because now is the time to do it, because you got a lot more to be excited about. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
there was also that it wasn't anything to do with this, but I watched the first, well, like we talked about the first like 5 minutes or like the first episode of is it Hunters?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Wow. Holy shit. Like I didn't really know what I was watching at first, but then I kind of like I had to kind of rewatch it.
Right.
And I was like, is that like, is it supposed to be like Hitler? Is this like this what we're talking about?
Yep. I was telling you, dude, just watch the first fucking scene and you will be in. Like,
yeah.
Insane.
Yeah.
So good. So good. Hell yeah. I was actually going to ask you if you'd started watching that or The Boys yet. Because holy shit.
Yeah.
Those are fucking good shows. Good shows, man.
Mostly just Hunters. I gotta watch. I gotta start The Boys. But
yeah,
I'm pretty excited about that one.
Yeah. Well, they're both. Yeah, you should be excited about both. They're fucking fantastic. Fuck. I feel like there was one more thing I was gonna say about Kevin Smith, but I can't remember what the fuck it was. Oh well.
Yeah. Oh.
It's gone.
Yeah.
Watch the movies.
Yeah.
And be excited about the new ones coming, because there are definitely a lot more coming. And he's working on that fucking what is it? Like Masters of the Universe thing or something for Netflix?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
That's probably gonna be dope.
Yeah.
That'd be cool. So
Beyond that, that's about it. That's mostly what I've been doing.
Oh no, that's the other one I was gonna say is there's actually you should watch Jay's movie, Method in the Madness.
Yeah, I heard about that.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
You should fucking watch. That one's really good too. Like really, really good. So check that one out. And you said you've seen Dogma. You've seen Clerks 1, obviously.
Yeah.
And Reboot and Strike Back. Have you seen Chasing Amy?
No, I haven't.
You should watch Chasing Amy.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's not. Jay and Silent Bob are only in it at the very, very end, but it's definitely a really good movie, and where it's all like Ben Affleck and stuff. But actually, if you watch Chasing Amy and then rewatch Reboot, you'll get like those Ben Affleck scenes way more, and you'll be way more like, damn, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's the thing that I was thinking about as I was watching those. I was like, man, I feel like I need to rewatch Reboot now because I feel like I'll appreciate it so much more.
Yeah,
get it so much more.
Okay, so before you rewatch Reboot, though, watch Chasing Amy for sure.
All right.
And Method in the Madness, because it's really good.
I have heard a lot about that. I haven't really seen it yet.
Yeah.
Is that more of a serious movie for him, or is that like a?
It's a comedy action.
Okay.
Put it that way.
Yeah.
It's definitely funny, but it's definitely like a bit of satire and stuff, but it's also like kind of like takes a pretty wild turn, and it's awesome. It's awesome. Yeah, it's really good. Definitely worth checking out.
I should have rewatched Red State too. I really liked that one.
Great movie.
That was really good.
Did you see Tusk?
Yeah.
Did you see Yoga Hosers?
I don't think I saw that one either.
That's on Netflix for free, so.
Yeah, I saw it. I was kind of flipping around. I saw it.
It's good.
Yeah.
It's worth watching. Yeah. It's fun. The fucking brat Nazis or whatever. Bratwurst Nazis. I can't remember.
Yeah.
Bratsies. Something like that. Fucking awesome.
It was kind of a cool touch at the end of Clerks to see his daughter in a part of it as the little girl that was in the window. Oh yeah. It took me a second, but I was like, oh yeah, it's like a weird like full circle kind of moment.
Well, shit, in the first Jay and Silent Bob movie, in the very beginning, when it's the two little kids and they're going fuck, and it goes motherfuck, it evolves into that.
Yeah.
The one that's Jay is Kevin Smith's daughter. That was her first on screen. Yeah.
Nice.
Motherfuck, fuck, noise. Yeah. I love it when I see him live and he starts doing that a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was all like it was also kind of crazy to see, knowing what I know about him, to see like, because that was Mallrats was 95 and that one was 2006. Mm-hmm. So, and then seeing Reboot and stuff was like, it was just a weird, like, you know, knowing what I know about him now is like, you could definitely tell that there was a lot kind of happening during that time. Yeah.
And all of that is chronicled in the first 100 or so episodes of Jay and Silent Bob Get Old podcast.
Yeah.
One of the greatest podcasts ever. And the first podcast I got into. First one. First one. So, yeah. But anyway, ready to wrap this one up?
Yeah. That's all I got.
All right. So everyone definitely check out Murder on the Front Row. Check out Viva La Underdogs, Parkway Drive. Fucking outstanding. Unbelievable. They're both of them. Are they just like, I can't believe it's so rare that two fucking come out consecutively like this, where I'm like blown away by both of them. So I'm very excited to have talked about these, especially with you. Really happy you got to see them too. And man,
I'll say it, and I said it, and I kind of mentioned it when we were watching the Parkway one. Was like it was weird that we started with Murder in the Front Row, and then we went to the Parkway one because it's such a different world almost.
Yeah, yeah.
Like it really, if and nothing else, it showed so much of the progression in what it took to like make it, I guess, or like what it took to kind of get to different levels and stuff. And like I don't know, there's just so many different points where it was like, man, like we, you know, in one movie we're talking about, you know, the tape trading era. We're talking about the, you know, the bar scenes and all of like the, you know, the crazy shows that were happening. And then the next we're talking about, you know, a band that went from playing those smaller shows to playing a bigger, you know, the biggest metal festival ever. And so it's just kind of crazy to see like the differences between the two, but also, you know, kind of ultimately how they like combine together.
Yeah.
So
hold on, your screen is frozen again.
Anything?
No, not yet.
Oh,
there we go. There we go.
Back.
But yes, no, 100% for to see it, and then for especially, yeah, like you said, for it to be the road to the biggest metal festival on earth was just a fucking amazing thing to see.
I mean, I don't think that any of the bands in the first movie could have ever predicted that there would be this other thing that would happen, because they're like, those bands have played that festival, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
A lot of the bands that have,
I don't know if Metallica has, but I know
sure
Slayer, Anthrax, and Megadeth definitely have.
Yeah, I'm not sure about Wacken or Vakin, but
yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. That was just kind of a cool little note.
I agree, and it's
as much as things change, they stay the same.
Yeah,
deal.
And they were just they were just both so outstanding that I'm really happy with both of them, and totally rewatchable too. Like, I've already rewatched the Parkway one more than once, and I'm gonna rewatch Murder in the Front Row again probably tonight. But yeah, they're just so fucking good, and there's so much in there that's just awesome. And in a time like right now, you need stuff to watch. These are the ones to go to. Yeah. But that'll be it for us tonight. Be sure to, again, like we said at the top of the episode, check out Elli's House 313. The links are in the description below for all that stuff. And thank you again so much. Shout out to my sister Catie for being on this episode tonight. Yeah, she's down there in Detroit, fucking killing it. So, and then that's check out fucking Recorruptor and Bogwraith on everything. Recorruptor, Bogwraith, A Fitting Revenge, and A Suffocating Lie on everything.
On.
Yeah, fucking yeah, right? On Facebook, Instagram, Spotify, Apple Music, everything, Bandcamp, everything. Just look them up. Look them up, people. It's great shit. Fucking Bogwraith even has a goddamn brand new EP y'all should be checking out. Like, what the fuck? What the fuck you sleeping on this shit for? Or maybe you're not. Maybe you're not. But if you are, don't be.
Don't be a friggin' nerd.
Don't be a nerd.
Hang your head to that shit. I don't care. and then tell us about how much your neck hurts the next day from smashing your face into the table in front of you or something.
Yep. Hey, I've done that. So.
Well, yep. As have I, and I have pictures. So, not my proudest moment, but it has happened. So,
That's awesome.
in any case, yes.
Oh shit. All right, man. Well, I guess that'll be it for this one. Thank you everyone so much for checking this out. Be sure to check out everything we just told you to check out. And that'll be it. I guess that's it. We'll be back again soon with maybe the Vermers episode or something. And yeah, I'm gonna look into those fucking VH1 documentaries.
Yeah.
I'm going on a
see if you can find any of them.
I'm going on a hunt.
Yeah.
I'm going hunting. But all right, man. Fucking hey, cheers.
Hey, I don't have a drink left.
God
But
damn it.
hey, here's an empty glass. Hey, cheers.
Cheers it anyway. Thanks for being on with me tonight.
Oh yeah, man.
This is fucking awesome. Thank you all for watching. This has been Lost in the Dark podcast. Check out everything we told you to check out, and we will be back again very soon with much more. I hope you all are doing very well and staying safe, and I hope you enjoyed this episode. And I hope you enjoyed these fucking documentaries as much as we did, because they really were fantastic. So that's going to be it from us tonight, though. Raise your horns, bang your goddamn heads. We love you all to death. Good night.